So I'm just going to start the recording as well. And thank you so much for joining. I will handle everything now to Álvaro. Looking forward for this meeting. So I think we can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's go. Well, hello guys. Today I'm going to talk how to build your tech team. If you want to ask questions, maybe I think it's better to do it at the end so you can take notes. Yeah, at the end will be 10.
If you just my advice, sorry to interrupt you. There is a chat option on Zoom. So if you click on the chat, you can leave the question if you want, and then we can all check it at the end also to help you.
Okay, is the Q&A part?
Sorry?
Is the Q&A at the bar?
Yeah, so that's a chat option. Yeah.
Okay.
So if they want, they can leave the questions there, and then you can see it.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, let's go. First thing, well, I'm going to introduce you some concepts that are important when you want to build your tech team, because you need to know the steps that you need to follow, okay? The first one is UX UI. This is something that is not super common to be talking about when you're gonna build a tech team or you want to build your app or your project. Basically, is the design. Okay, it's the evolution of the graphic design. Okay, the graphic design was just something that was beautiful. Imagine when you were asking a graphic designer to draw your project. Well, the only outcome that you could find is if it was beautiful or not. Okay, the UX UI is a process. It's the evolution of the graphic design, and it's something you need to do before start coding. Okay, and here I have put you a picture which shows an example of what basically UX UI is. Okay, as I told you, it's a process. The process starts with the UX, and the UX, what basically looks for is to understand your potential user. Okay, and there's a methodology to understand they start identifying which potential users could use your app, and then they start interviewing them. Okay, and there is a process. You see here a lot of things of content requirements, information architecture. Well, lots of things that need to be done before starting to paint it. Okay, which is the UA part, where they start to paint the layout and where you can see the visual design. Okay, at the end, what you get when you have the UX UI done, you have screens and you have your project, your whole project design. Okay, it could be only for an app, also for a web app, or for both. Once you have it, you go to see a developer. Okay, and when you go to see a developer, you will find that there are two types of developers. Okay, the backend and the front ends. And there's also a third one, which are the full stacks. A full stack guy is someone that do both. Okay, so this is important because you need to understand who are you talking with. Okay, the front end guy is the one that designs what implements what the UX UI designers have done. and they implement the visual part. Imagine when you scroll down a web and the images move, it's because the front-end guy has coded, okay? The backend guy is the one that manages the database, the algorithms, and if you see that something is turning intelligent in your app, it's because the backend guy is doing it. For example, when you visit your wall on Facebook and you see that there are some news appearing to you, but not to your friends, and blah, 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 those are the backend guys, okay? So we move on. After that, how to start, okay? First step, you need to do the UX UI of your project. Can you outsource it? Yes. Yeah, at the beginning, there's no problem to outsource it. And if you want a good place to outsource it, you can write me and I will introduce you, okay? The big question, how much? It depends on your project. And it depends on the UX UI guy you're hiring, okay? It can be from 5K to 30K, more or less. But you can find cheaper things or maybe not, but that's the range, okay? When your project is launched, you have a team, I will recommend you to hire a UX UI guy. But once you have a big traction, okay? Meanwhile, you can outsource it. Then after web dev, I will highly recommend to hire these guys in-house. Going to India, to Turkey, to China, it's always an option, and it's an option I wouldn't recommend you never. Why? Because when someone starts building, well, coding something, they can code it in a good way or in a bad way, okay? Coding in a good way means that if another guy starts coding that project 3 months after, is going to understand everything. Coding in a bad way means that that guy is not going to understand anything. And maybe you have to destroy everything and start from scratch again, okay? So my recommendation is to hire developers, always. So when you start hiring a developer, what they want, okay, you're starting and you say, hey, we don't have money and we need a tech team because we have a software idea, okay? A developer is never, ever, ever, never going to work for you only for equity. Never, okay? Never, it's not going to happen. So stop thinking about it and try to get some money, okay? Developers, I would say openly, don't ask for equity. They don't care, okay? They just want money. And if you pay them what the market is paying them, they are not going to ask you for more. That's important, okay? But things that they value, if you have a project that you're launching, first thing is the money. Second one is if they are surrounded by a good tech team. That's super important for them. And the third thing is if your project is interesting in two terms of what technology they are going to be using. For example, Java is not an interesting technology for any developer, or C++. You know, maybe React, Node.js, some fancy technologies, pretty new ones, the ones I told you. Developers love them, okay? And the second thing is if your project in terms of innovation is interesting, okay? But Those three things can vary if you have a senior team. Well, that a senior team means that you've been already for 2 or 3 years in the market and you need to hire more developers. Of course, money is always important, but the guy that is going to start working for you realize that you have money. Okay, so the first thing for them is if you have a good tech team. Okay, that's the most important thing for them. Then, if there is an interesting project behind, and the third one is the money. Again, they don't give a shit about your equity. If you give them equity, it's perfect. But the first thing for them is money. Okay? Okay, now we're going to move on, and I'm going to show you, talking about money, how much a junior, a senior, a CTO earn. I'm talking about Spain. Okay? Well, at junior dev, you can find them for 20, 30K, senior between 30 and 45K, and at CTO, I put 45 plus because it can be 40. Well, 45 is quite strange, but it can be 50, 60, 100, or even more, okay? Again, no equity. Well, who you need to hire first, okay? If you're building an MVP, a junior dev will be perfect, okay? After the MVP, if you want to start your project, you need senior developers. Why? Because you need someone to build your architecture, okay? And also this senior guy is the one that's going to help you to hire other seniors. This senior is always the most difficult profile to find because it's the first senior you're hiring and you need to earn trust, okay, that your project is good, that you have money, and well, you know what you're building, okay? You can talk in terms of technology and this senior is going, yeah, it's going to like it, okay? So this senior is important because is the one, as I told you, that is going to help you hiring the rest of the team. So it's important that this guy is a person involved in the tech community, okay? And you only start doing this once you have the UX UI ready. Super important, because what the coders or the developers are going to do is to code what the UX UI guys pass them. All the screens that pass them are the ones that are going to code, okay? Next and last, where you can find them. It's not easy. Of course, I don't put the regular option that is on the internet. Just go to meetups. If you don't know Meetup, it's a web page where you can find lots of groups. And talking about technology, there are lots in every city around the world. Just go to, there are different technologies going on. There's a JavaScript meetup, a Ruby on Rails. Just go there and start meeting people and pitching them your project and telling them that you have money. There are always developers there looking for new opportunities. So I will say it's the perfect place to hire them. Okay? As you see, this was quite fast, but it's everything that you need if you want to start hiring a tech team. So I'm finished right now. I will pause. Sure. Okay. I will stop it. I don't know if you have any questions that you want to ask. So let's go if you want.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much, Álvaro, for your for your talk.
You're welcome.
This one. Okay, so my question is, I guess you know a lot of developers because of Ironhack. How much percentage of all the developers that graduate from Ironhack could be interested in partner with a founder of a startup or of a company to partner with this founder, like become a co-founder? Like
0%,
5%, 10%, I don't know.
0%.
I'm going for the equity
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, that's why I told you 0%. No one. Because they get lots of offers, and they realize that they are junior developers, and a junior developer, it's silly to be a CTO because they are not CTOs. So they know it, and they just wanna earn some experience, and after that, maybe 2-3 years, they realize that they are ready, maybe to start a company or whatever. But imagine, can you please mute yourself, because
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the same room with Alex, and we are conflicting with the sound. So, but I think
okay,
she's muted now.
Okay, perfect. Well, no, can you mute both computers, because I'm still hearing myself, please? Okay. Now perfect. Thank you. Now 0, because imagine after 2-3 years that a guy start being, well, quite senior, they realize that they are ready to start a project, and they do it on their own first, because they don't need anyone. Maybe they need a business guy, but if they go to an accelerator, an incubator, imagine one of these guys go to an incubator, and they know that if they open their arms, they can choose whatever the project they want, no? So that's why I can tell you that last year, no one did this. We have only one guy starting his project, and they were 2 students from Ironhack starting together. One was with one had a business degree, the other one a tech degree. Both did Ironhack, and they both started a project, but normally they don't do this. And this is something, this talk started because of this question. Before being in Matadero, we were in front of IE in Madrid, and we have tons of students from the Venture Lab entering and asking the same question, and also in Google Campus happened the same. So that's why we decided to start talking about this. I'm not saying that it's impossible to find someone to do this, but it's like finding a unicorn.
Okay, thank you. No, I was just asking because it's my personal case, because I joined Bridge for Billions when I graduated from engineering, and I didn't expect to be part of a startup, and I started like a junior developer. And at that point, there was no investment, there was no money, and I think those unicorns are the ones that our entrepreneurs are looking for, because it's very weird that you can pay for developers' salaries if you don't have investment, right? I think it takes a little bit of time, or at least having an MVP of your product, and then go to investment to really form a tech team. Because even for us right now, it's really complicated to hire, to find developers, and competing with the salaries that can pay, I don't know, Indra, Telefonica, or others. So it's quite complicated, but I think that the rest of the things you said is completely true.
Yeah, but it's about supply and demand. You know that there are a few developers in the market, and they have tons of offers, and people that's paying money, a lot of money to them. and you are offering nothing. Well, equity, and most of the time you are offering, imagine a 5-10% while you get a 90% or whatever, and the developers are the ones that are going to do 90% of the work while you are doing only a 10 or a 5%. So they know it's not fair. Also, they are not going to earn money, and the third thing is that they could do it without your help. So that's why they don't choose that option. I will say that for me, my recommendation, and it's not because I work here, is someone that wants to start a software project needs to know how to code. And not because they are going to code or going to be coders, but this allows you to launch an MVP, firstly. And secondly, you have criteria to hire and criteria to make decisions and to give orders. Because when you say someone, hey, do this for tomorrow, you don't have any idea if that could be done in 24 hours or in 24 minutes. So it's super important to understand coding. And well, and I'm not, I repeat, I'm not saying this because I work here, because there are too many options in the market to start doing it. But yeah, it's something, as you say, that you said maybe, well, it's not fair that, but at the end of the day, you are talking about people. And when you offer someone 0 versus someone which is offering him more, and also this guy has the knowledge, your offer is horrible. That's why there's no traction.
Álvaro,
thank you so much. Martin is also commenting, speaking to the current topic, I totally agree. If someone can code, it's much easier, that they're going to get tired of the non-coding founder. Yes, and he has a question, which is, I've hired a design before, but going from Photoshop mockups to code is very tiring. Do you have any recommendations for ways to find people that can do both design and HTML5?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is that UX UI designers don't use Photoshop. That's, well, it's something that could be used, but they use a Sketch, okay? Well, and I'm talking about Google, Facebook designers. And if you want to hire someone which is a designer and knows how to code, in the market they are called unicorns. Okay, you can find them, but it's not easy. And also a UX UI person, if they know how to code, they know a little bit of front end. When you say HTML5, HTML is not a coding language, it's a tag language. Okay, well, when you talk about the styles of your web page, and also you need a backend. Those are normally, in 98%, they are separate profiles you need to find. They are not the same. I talked to them redoing in the Sketch so I could get an HTML export. Well, no, well, if they do it, if they have done it with Photoshop, you can also get an HTML. In both things, this guy is going to give you a design. It's like he's giving you a paper. Then someone needs to code it. And not only with HTML, which is like the basic thing. They need to use JavaScript. Maybe they need to they need to use Node.js. Now there is an app called Figma that translates your designs into code. Okay, but you also you will need a coder.
I think Raul, do you want to ask something?
Yeah, well, I totally agree with Jaime regarding the thing that he told about, there are a lot of companies out there, like consultancy firms, that for sure will offer much more money that you can afford to pay those guys that came out directly from the universities, because they are looking for them even behind the rocks. So it's very, very complicated, because I worked for a consultancy firm not too long ago, and we were really waiting and looking for people from those kind of profile, especially from web design and coding for the apps. So it's quite complicated. What I would like to say to Alvaro, to know his opinion, is something that just happened to me. We are working on that right now. Myself, I am a technical guy. I am a computer programmer, so I know a little bit about programming, and I have created by myself. I'm not a front-end developer, I hate that, but I'm a back-end. But I have created an application for my project using PhoneGap. I'm sure that you know about that.
Yep.
And it's not the best looking thing, but it's working. That's my main concern as a programmer, that it works. Now I'm trying to move forward and do the next step to create something really, good looking and very, shiny. And then I started to look for someone that can do this for me, for iOS and Android. I recall I already have this for Android, okay, working, and it's perfectly working. Well, what I found is that in Spain, doing a project such like that requires between 2 months, 1 month and a half, 2 months, maybe 3 months, never 3 months, they are asking me for no less than 10,000 euros. It's like madness, because it's half the salary that you are commenting for a junior developer. And he has to do only to recreate the functionality that I have already created. So what I have to do at the end is going outside, like, South America or India, where I found people that can do this kind of stuff for less than 5,000 euros. So you comment here, that's what I would like to hear your opinion. You comment here that never trust, how you say that, people from, off, how you call it, offshore, okay, going offshore. But at the end, if you want to be, saving money, that's your only option, specifically in this thing, which is app development. It's the holy grail of the people right now. I thought a lot of time switching my position to web developer or app developer right now, because they are like, doing things with the horn of unicorns or something like that, because it's quite expensive. So having that in mind, that you have no option if you don't want to spend a huge amount of money, do you think that going to maybe India or South America is a good idea?
Well, here it's different, your case, because you have already coded and you're looking for the UX UI designers, okay? This is completely different. I say you can outsource UX UI. I would not recommend to outsource coding. That's why I said that outsourcing to those countries for me is not an option. But
no, but I'm going to be outsourcing coding, because I have made this using the PhoneGap application, and now I need to do this for the other with a very good looking style, but taking the functionalities that PhoneGap won't allow you to have. So we have to go to Node.js, React, Flutter.
So you need, yeah. Okay. Now I understand. You want to code it on native languages, no?
Exactly. Never cross-platform.
Like Objective-C, Swift. Okay. And for you, it wouldn't be a chance to use, instead of using PhoneGap, using Ionic?
I don't know. I don't know it.
Look, Ionic. Again, well, you will need someone to code your app. I know that when you're talking about 10K and 2 months, at least you're gonna have 2 people involved in your project. That means 4 people. Well, you need to pay those 2 people 2 months. So it's a 4-month salary of 2.5K, which is normal. And then also the agency needs to win money. Okay, so 10K will be a normal price for that in Spain,
Yeah.
and I think it will be it's a fair price.
I know that that's the normal price, but what I want to tell you is that has nothing to it can fight against prices that you can
No,
get.
I know, but then you have some risks when you go outside. Well, if you are a coder, you can be reviewing the code that they are doing, and you can see if they are commenting it, if it's a spaghetti code or not, if they are refactoring. Well, if you know how to code, you can see many things, no? But they can give you a sheet that works, but it's going to broke once you want to add a new functionality. That is the main risk.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to share my my.
No, and it's totally fair.
Okay, maybe I know Martin has also another question.
Okay,
I was just going to say, would you maybe recommend forcing your contract coders to check into a repository that you can see regularly, just to have some kind of oversight?
Well, if you know how to code, yes. If not, you are not going to understand anything. But yeah, for sure.
Do you have any opinions on using Flutter? It's basically a Google product for cross-platform. I know it claims very native performance.
I don't have an opinion, but if it's done by Google, for sure that it's working fine. Now there are cross-platform products that are working super good, like Ionic or this one, and it's common now that people, when you want to build an app, you don't build it in native languages because it's super expensive. You need to hire an iOS team and then an Android one, and it's a pain to do that. Also, you need to pay good money for both. So people are starting to use a lot these kinds of solutions that you code it in web and they transform it to an app language, and automatically you have it in iOS and in Android. And I haven't used Flutter, but yeah, it could be a good option, sure.
Is there anyone who would like to make an extra question for Álvaro? Jaime just wrote one, which is regarding.
No. Cross platforms should be avoided. No. Cross platforms are good.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay, and Jaime left this question. I have another question regarding retaining the tech talent in your team. Which would you say are the main factors that make developers stay in your tech team?
Well, first thing, have colleagues working with them that they respect and they think that they are awesome coders. That's the first thing. Well, the first thing is money. Okay, if you don't have money and you are running out of money, your developer is going to run far away from you. And if you are telling him, yeah, but don't worry, we are going to get an investment round in a few months, but your developer is going to run far away. Okay, so I will say first, have a good team working with them, a team that they respect. This is difficult because you always need to start with something. And as I said, the most difficult part is to hire the first senior guy. And if they have a good team and they are working in an interesting project, you are able to provide them interesting things in terms of technology and an innovation project that they see that it's growing. I will say that 90% you're going to be able to retain your talent. Then there's a second part which talks about the culture of your company, the values that you're following, and all those sort of things. But it's always hard to retain a developer because they receive offers every day. But if you have this, you have more options.
Thank you, Álvaro. Would you say that also working remote can be like one really interesting, I don't know, compensation for a developer to work in a startup, like, or to retain them, like, you know, comparing to working on a consultancy or another company that remote 100% of your time can be a possibility?
Yeah, if the developer is working good, I know many cases where developers ask for remote work, and yeah, they go 2 months or 3 months to Bali, to Thailand, or wherever. Yeah, and they continue working. But if they want to work remote, they need to be senior. A junior developer working in remote doesn't work. Okay.
Anyone has another question? Maybe not. Okay, no comments? No? Okay, I don't know if you, if there is anything else you would like to share with us, Alvaro. I mean, we are a tech startups ourselves, so, and we developed our solution in-house, and Jaime could share all about that experience. So we relate to everything that you've been commenting and presenting a lot. I don't know if anyone doesn't have any questions. I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to share, Alvaro.
Yeah, there's one last thing regarding what you just said. Guys, when you write offers and you're going to publish them on the internet, well, when you want to hire someone, for example, a developer, don't mix concepts, okay? Don't put that you want to hire a developer, but he also needs to know UX UI, or because developers detect that you don't know what you're talking about and they will immediately refuse that offer. Okay, they wouldn't even apply. So, and if you don't have tech knowledge, just share it before with a tech guy to see if it makes sense, because maybe you are asking for a React developer with 6 years of experience, and React doesn't have 6 years of life, you know? So you need to be super careful with that, because maybe you post the offer and everyone is laughing in the market and they are not applying to you. Okay, that's the first thing.
And I guess that works for everything else as well.
Yeah, but when you go to the internet, I will say that half of the offers or more are not correct, and from big companies. Normally are traditional companies that are transforming themselves, and they are hiring a tech team, and when you read the offers, they doesn't make sense. You know, so you need to be super careful with that.
Martin, just could you write the type of development that knows design? Sure. Ah.
Unicorn.
Great. Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, Álvaro, thank you so much. It was very practical, very down to earth, very structured. Thank you so much for your presentation today. We shared Álvaro's profile in the community, in the event. So if you want to know more about him and about all his projects and everything that he's doing, I really recommend you to do so. They have a very interesting approach to training, so please do so. And Álvaro, I cannot thank you enough for the webinar today. You will also, all of you who joined, you can find the recording on the community, so you can check anything later. If there's any term that you don't remember as well. Thank you so much, Álvaro, and everyone who joined today.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Álvaro.